There'll be an atmosphere, make no mistake about that. These are two of the heavyweights of European football, Spain and Italy. As Gab was explaining, a real history. It's the fourth time running they'll have met at the European Championships. I think those odds are right. I think Italy are the slight favourites. I think they've been the most exciting, charismatic team we've seen at the European Championships. Whether they're the best team, we're going to find out in the next few days, and certainly tomorrow night. Gab is right. Spain, they're a little bit erratic. You'd have thought they'd have finished off the job a bit more comprehensively than they did against Switzerland. I like Italy. I know they struggled a little bit against Austria, who at times outplayed them the last time they were at Wembley. But this is a good team with a lot of intensity on a long unbeaten run. And they've got a really good goalkeeper in Donnarumma. Those two warriors, Bonucci and Chiellini at the back. I think Insigne's been playing really well. I think they're just going to edge it, you know.
Disappointing, of course, no Spinazzola, who's been one of the stars of the show in the tournament so far, Gab.
Yeah, that was a real heartbreaker. I mean, arguably for me, well, definitely for me, Italy's player of the tournament, arguably the player of the tournament thus far. So important and so difficult to replace because Mancini's probably going to go with Emerson, who can do some of the things Spinazzola does going forward, but he's not going to match Spinazzola's flat-out pace, his quickness going forward, and also recovering. Spinazzola, let's not forget, was so important, especially when you play Bonucci and Chiellini together, because that man's got wheels. He can come back. He saves a goal off the line from Lukaku. He can do so many things. He's got the one-on-one. Emerson, while he's nowhere near as bad as the English media paint him out to be, you know, you're still talking about the guy who was third choice left back at Chelsea. Just a different sort of player.
Right then, Stevie. It's going to be a good game.
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a case of Italy being more than happy just to let Spain hold the ball and pass it around. And then, as they've done all of this campaign, they've won it back as a group. And then they'll create and score goals. Because if Spain gives the ball away cheaply, they'll get at that back line. And I don't think there's a lot of pace in that back line. And when I say pace, I don't mean blinding pace. I'm talking about the first step.
Yeah.
You know, Alba's past his best defensively. Laporte's not particularly great, you know, with people in and around him. Azpilicueta's past his best. So if they cough the ball up, and as I said, Italy have been good at winning the ball back when the opposition have had possession, I think that's how they're going to hurt them.
It's kind of how you see it going, yeah? Spain will have the ball, Italy will wait for a mistake and then catch them on the break.
Kind of, but not necessarily, because I think Italy as well, in some of these games which we've seen, they've controlled the game through possession.
Right.
That's the whole point of someone like a Jorginho and so on, because I think if they don't have lots of the ball, or say they're passive up top, then someone like that, I think you don't necessarily render them useless, but they don't have the same sort of effect. But these are very good footballers. Looking at him in there, I think Barella in there, looking at Verratti in there, you know, they want to get their foot on the ball and move it around. That's what they do for their clubs. So ultimately, I think it'll be a good test because for Spain, they have one approach, which is to keep the ball.
Yeah.
But for the Italians, like, are they going to try and match that, or will they drop off? And I think if they drop off, it probably isn't their A1 plan, but it should make for a great game. And as well, looking at the history of it, Italy versus Spain,
Yes.
like, even as somebody who wants to support England, that's a game which I'm desperate to see because that is a big game. That's a big iconic game. It should make for a very good match.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.